Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You're with me Arun Sharma, and in today's video we are talking about 5 things you need to remember for CAT 22 in the last 45 days of your preparation. So yes, we are now firmly close to 45 days of preparation left, and given the fact that you are in the mid of October now, you need to now finally pull up your socks if you have not already done it, and you need to make sure that the last 45 days of preparation count for a lot for your CAT 22 attempt if you want to make it big this year. So what are the 5 things that I want to talk about? Let's look at them one by one. So the first thing is, in quants, you need to first audit your portion coverage and your portion strengths and weaknesses. So when you're talking about last 45 days of preparation, in QA you really cannot be ki, okay, ye cover kar lete hain, wo cover kar lete hain, or apna time, you can't waste your time that way. So you have to be very, very specific with what you want to do in QA. There are still a lot of things available. In general, all these 5 points I'm talking about, one thing will be common, that we have to look for things that will work in 45 days. So if there's a process that will give me results by January, I don't want to implement it for CAT 22. So that's common sense. So when we talk about QA, understanding your portion coverage and understanding your portion performance, your portion strengths and weaknesses is very, very critical. So that will give you the outcome, and from that analysis and from that understanding will come out what you need to do exactly with your study time left in the context of a 45-day period. So in case, I mean, things that will come out will be, my geometry is not so weak, not so good, it's not working so well in the mock tests, or I've covered geometry but still not working, or I've not covered this let's say I've not covered function, so I need to cover functions, or I've covered time split distance twice, I need to do it a third time. So these are the kind of things that will come out of your audit of your portion coverage and your portion strengths and weaknesses, and based on that you will create an action plan of maybe repairing 5, 7, 8 things which can be done in depth during this time. So things you might come up with a challenge or an agenda like, I want to do the 3rd round of time split distance. I want to solve 50 more questions on applications of time split distance. I want to do 200 questions on geometry. I want to do 100 more questions on functions at a higher level of difficulty. Or I need to cover the previous year questions of functions and algebra over the next 10 days. So these kind of inputs you will get. And please remember, all these inputs that I'm talking about, all these action plans I'm talking about, are action plans that will work or that will get executed and give you results within the 45-day framework, so that it works for you on the day of the CAT. That's the first point. The second point is about verbal ability and reading comprehension. And here also, when you are implementing things in the last 45 days, the focus has to be to understand processes that will give you results in a 45-day period. So for example, vocabulary development, long-term vocabulary development, long-term reading development no longer works in a 45-day framework. So what will specifically work in verbal is going to be stuff like, you should of course have an analysis of what you're scoring in your mocks in verbal by now and how much your accuracy rate is. So you can actually work on specifically improving the rate of accuracy, improving the identifying, and how you work on accuracy in a 45-day framework is to identify reasons for errors you're making. For example, suppose you are solving 15, 16 questions in verbal in the allotted time, and you're getting 8 to 9 correct, and you're not getting the other 7 correct, you're getting 50-60% accuracy. So improving your accuracy at this point, there might be processes that will work for it. So are you misreading the passage? Are you misreading the ideas or misunderstanding the ideas of the passage? Are you not understanding the question? Sometimes what happens in comprehension is the question is asking you something else. One of the options says something that the passage is saying, but it's not answering the question. So a lot of people fall into the trap कि ये तो option बोला हुआ है exam में, hence this is the answer. But if it is not answering the question which is asked, it's not the right answer to the question asked. So that's something you can work on. Are you misreading the options? Are you not concentrating on the minute differences between 2 very close options? So these are things that you need to fine tune. These are all fine tunings that can be done in a 45-day period in verbal. Something like improving the quality of your pre-phrasing of your answers. You can also work on that. What you can do, and small exercise I can suggest for that, is pick up previous year questions or pick up good quality reading comprehension passages. And what you do is you blank out the options and just look at the question, read the passage, look at the question, and try to write a descriptive answer to that question. And once you write the descriptive answer to the question, try to see how close your answer is to what the question is asking, what the correct option is, and try to get more accurate with the quality of your answering in that context. That's point number 2. Data interpretation, logical reasoning. What should you do? This is the third point. That's the third point I want to cover. Data interpretation, logical reasoning. What should you do in the last 45 days? So again, an audit is not out of place here also. The focus on data interpretation and logical reasoning should be first to understand कि when you're doing a mock test and you're doing a test, are you able to solve all the sets? Not within the time frame, but do you have the capacity to solve all the sets without time limits? So if you're taking 40-minute section test on DILR and there are 4 or 5 sets in it, are you able to solve all the 4 or 5 if given enough time? If given 80 minutes, are you able to get to the solution to all of them? Because if you're not at that point in DILR, your DILR attempt is going to be fragmented. So in case you're not already at that point where you can solve anything given in a DI or LR set, it means time for desperation. So if I was in your place and I was in that situation where I'm not able to solve or I'm not able to answer all the questions without time limit in an 80-minute time frame, then I would be in a desperate situation. Okay, I need more exposure to more DI situations, more LR situations, because I'm still finding questions which I don't know how to solve. So if that is happening, you will always be fragmented in the exam, because when you pick up a set in DI or LR in the exam, your first question mark and the biggest question mark in your head, which will keep growing as time goes in the attempt, will be, is this one of those sets that I can't solve, and should I get into this? So if you look at the toppers and the people who crack this section and crack the exam through this section, all of them have that mindset when they are solving the test. I don't need to bother whether this set will be solved by me or not. The only botheration is how much time it's going to take. So even if I get into a fight with a set, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 17 minutes, मैं solution निकाल लूँगा. It's not like कि मैं फंस जाऊँगा जाके end में. तो अगर तुम्हारा ये हो रहा है कि मैं फंस जा रहा हूँ end में जाके sets में, तो then time for desperation. You have to get after 200 sets and sit down and solve. Take a 10-day period, solve 20 sets a day in whatever area, whether it's DI or LR. Get through 200 sets. Show yourself that you can actually go through the most difficult sets on your own, or you can find the process required to get there. Because nothing builds confidence as much as self-problem solving question banks. And in case you already cross that barrier, that okay, I can handle any question, but it's now a question of time. Can I do it in 40 minutes or not? Can I do that extra set in 40 minutes? Then you can focus on a 45-day period where you're focusing on speed of solving. And when you're focusing on speed of solving in DILR, the focus has to be on solving in one reading, reducing the amount of writing you're doing, calculating faster, and getting rid of all the missteps that you do when you solve questions. So that's the strategy here. That's the third point with respect to the data interpretation, logical reasoning section. The fourth point is take a lot of tests. It's very important for you to take tests. You can even get into a 1 test per day mode right now, because tests do 2 things. They give you feedback about what's happening to you in the mocks inside the tests, how good you are in each section, in each question type, etc. So that feedback you get from the tests. And very importantly, tests also give you additional practice. So if you take 30-40 tests from now, mock tests from now in the next 40 days, you will end up solving close to 1,000 questions in quants, close to 1,000 questions in verbal, and 40 tests will be close to 1,000 questions in verbal, and close to 150, 160 more sets in DILR. So it's almost like a whole world of preparation which is still available for you. Unfortunately, what I see in the last 45 days, once your scores, and specifically if your scores are not coming according to what you had thought of or according to your target percentile, there's a kind of a despondency in a lot of students कि मेरा नहीं हो रहा है, or yeah, I'm not getting what I wanted. So my advice always is you should keep fighting. You should have an optimistic mindset, and you should keep fighting till the last minute for this thing. So those 1,000 questions that you'll do in 40 mock tests, हो सकता है उसमें से कैट के दिन 3 क्वेश्चन आ जाए और तुम्हारा 80-90 का स्कोर 100 पहुंच जाए, 99 percentile आ जाए तुमको. So that's very important. Maybe a DI set you solved or a reasoning set you solved during these 40 days is the exact structure or exact pattern of a question on the D-Day. You might get lucky. The harder you work, the luckier you get. That's the maxim. So you have to make sure that you are on it in the last 40 days. So that was point number 4. And point number 5, of course, is everything now has to be on score improvement. Everything now from this point has to be about improving the scores section-wise and improving the scores in the full-length test. So you have to, when you talk about point number 4, going back to that, taking a lot of tests, you have to take 2 kinds of tests, mock section tests and full-length tests, both of them. And the other part, as I said, was the focus on score improvement methods. So you find from your testing, from your experience inside the test, you find what's going wrong. You find what's missing in your attempt. You find what's going wrong inside the mock test, and you start plugging those holes in the last 45 days. A lot of the holes can still get plugged. You got a lot of the play. A lot of water has to go under the bridge before you go for the CAT. Make sure you use the time. Understand the fact that this time is not going to come back to you, and give it your best shot. Forget the result. The result will take care of itself. A good result, a bad result, you'll be able to always deal with it in your life. But remember, one thing I want out of every situation when I'm facing a challenge in my life has always been that I should be happy with the effort I did. And that's what your focus should be. Be happy with the effort that you did. Be delighted with your own effort. Let the results take care of themselves. They always do. And even if they don't, you will always be able to deal with the results. Even a bad result is dealt with very easily. Thank you so much. And please subscribe to the channel, and please spread the word around about this channel if you are finding the content good. And please let me know in the comments what you want more from our side on this channel. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.